What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, well, it's a day. And you know what days mean nowadays? Days mean we have new Digimon cards to talk about. Yay! We got some green cards to talk about, and I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we might not be quite at the Cherubimon levels of, oh my god, that's amazing, that we were at yesterday. But we've got some pretty gosh darn tasty reveals to be talking about today. Now, our translation coming to lovely folks over at Chosagoi over on Facebook. I think I've made my feelings about them rather well known by this stage. Check them out if you haven't been already. And what we've got is clearly a continuity, a continuation of a line where we've actually seen a couple cards revealed already. We'll explain as we go. So starting off, we've got the over-the-top adorable Wormmon. Now, we got a level 3 Digimon here. Free cost to play normally is standard. 0 cost to evolve is standard. 1000 power is extremely low. So if we're going to have a general usual cost Digimon with very low power, we're going to need a pretty good skill. And the good news is, we've got a pretty good skill. When destroyed, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add a level 4 or level 5 you find to your hand, and return the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, I do need to give the same caveat I always give when we talk about skills like this, and we have seen a few. This is generally the closest we get to real searching in Digimon. We don't have ways to shuffle our deck at the moment, and we don't really have ways to draw from the bottom of our deck. And when we run out of our deck, we lose the game. If you can't draw during your draw phase at the beginning of your turn, you lose. What that means is that putting cards on the bottom of your deck is very close to removing them from the game. Not entirely, not completely, but not a million miles away. And you've got to be super, super careful with that. But this searches out level 3s and level 4s. Now, this is a destroyed skill, which is very sad, etc. Although, do remember, you can always just use this to attack a resting Digimon with more power, and that will destroy it. Or you can just attack the security, which is clearly a better option. And either you hit an option or tamer card, or you hit a Digimon, and you've got literally the lowest possible power, so if you attack a security and it is a Digimon, you will be destroyed, and then you will get to search at a level 4 or 5. Kind of sad, of course, because you could have evolved this into that level 4, but it's just draw, it's search, it's extra speed. You end up with one card that you didn't have before, which is awesome, and you are a little bit faster than you were before, which is kind of lovely. I mean, we saw a bunch of really nice destroyed skills in Ultimate Power, but they were largely purple cards. We saw Impmon with its self-milling, we saw Tapermon with its draw, we saw some decent destroyed skills. That's kind of the deal here, and honestly, just attack a security. You have to wait a turn for that whole summoning sickness to go away, boo-hiss, etc. But then you attack in, and then you get destroyed, and things end up working quite a bit better than they probably would have been before. How cool is that? The answer is very. And that's the reason to play this card. It is as simple as that. You play it for the speed, you play it for the consistency, you play it so that you can get your level 4s and 5s out more quickly. It's not like we've never seen green cards that do this before. Green cards have been quite the fans of giving themselves a speed or consistency boost. I mean, back in New Evolution when they first debuted, we saw Palmon that when you play, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and grab a level 4 Digimon, whack it into your hand, that's kind of lovely. And then we saw Togemon, that when you evolve, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and you grab a level 5 and put it into your hand. We saw Jagamon, that when you attack, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and you may evolve immediately into a level 6 green Digimon you find. Not to mention that Download, that skill that literally makes it cheaper to evolve, is a green Digimon thing that came around, I believe it came around in Ultimate Power. I don't believe we had any before that. So it's a very green thing to do, right? And it fits along nicely, and it gives you more speed, and it gives you more consistency. It's not a card you're going to want to play for itself, but it may well be a card that lets you grab the cards you actually want to play faster, and that's kind of a thing of beauty. But we've also had a little reveal here of another lovely green card, Stingmon. Yay! Now it's a level 4 and we got 6 costs to play normally, and 6 costs to play normally on a level 4, I'll be honest with you, it's very much on the higher end. But it's a 1 cost to evolve, and the vast majority of level 4s cost 2 costs to evolve. So this is very much a Digimon whereby, yeah, it's expensive to play normally, but it's not expensive to evolve. Might I suggest evolving? Bearing in mind your level 3s are generally free to evolve, so you hatch your level 2, you evolve into a level 3 for 0 memory, and then you essentially played 1 memory before Stingmon is on the field. That's quite nice. As for the 5,000 power, that is on the higher end of level 4s as well. 5,000 power for a level 4 is pretty gosh darn good, so you know what? Yeah. It's not huge, but it ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't too bad. I'll be honest with you, though. It is the inheritable skill that we're largely looking at. Well, maybe it's kind of standard for a level 4. Maybe higher end is an exaggeration. We've seen higher. But it's not bad, okay? But it's the inheritable skill we're really looking at here. Once during your turn, and it is limited to once during your turn, when only your opponent's Digimon is destroyed in battle with this Digimon, gain a memory. Just get yourself an extra memory. Gaining memory is good. Gaining memory is huge. Gaining memory is the reason why Hammer Spark is still seeing a lot of play from the starter decks. We like gaining memory. Gaining memory is a reason I was so excited when I showed you Terriermon the other day. That's a Digimon that's got that permanent skill, whereby you essentially cannot gain memory if your opponent's got a Terriermon out, unless you're gaining memory from a Tamer skill. It's pretty important. And gaining memory is awesome. Now, it does say when only your opponent's Digimon is destroyed. That is to say, if you are both destroyed, this skill doesn't activate. It only activates if you destroy your opponent's Digimon and survive the encounter. But it's extra memory, and extra memory is awesome. And it's not tied to being destroyed, and it's not tied to anything else. If you can delete a Digimon, boom, you get it. And clearly this is an inheritable skill, right? You've got a 5,000 power Digimon, not loving it, not a fan. We're a little bit worried, you're a little bit weak. But how about something like Granku Wagamon? I like Granku Wagamon. Because on your turn, you got an extra 4,000 power, which means that you've got 15,000 power. Fine. I suppose there are going to be the odd Digimon around that's got more power, but they are going to be very few and far between. Which means that you will be destroying your opponent's Digimon and you will be surviving, and oh look, now you're gaining a memory. Except Granku Wagamon here is a particularly good example because it's got piercing, so you destroy your opponent's Digimon, and you perform a security check because of piercing, and you get the extra memory. That seems to be a combo that's kind of writing itself and very much worth getting excited over. There are other level 4 greens you can use. We're starting to get a decent stack of cards here now that have been released and revealed. But I'll tell you for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, if you can afford to play this, if you don't have another level 4 green Digimon that you have to play for some other reason, this seems like an absolute no-brainer. This seems absolutely phenomenal. I am a gigantic fan of this card. It might only be 1 memory and it might be limited to once during your turn, but extra memory is awesome. And while we're here, there is a green Digimon we've not actually looked at yet that has been revealed in a magazine, so maybe this is a good time to talk about Flymon. Shout out to the lovely folks over at digimoncard.dev who have done that thing where they've cleaned up the image and put the English translation on and made it a card that's nice and easy to work with. They are lovely people. I am a fan. There's lots of lovely people in the Digimon community. It is making me kind of happy. So what we've got is an alternative level 4. Oh, look what I did there. We've got a 5 cost to play normally, which is cheaper and decent, and a 2 cost to evolve, which is standard, but more than what we just looked at, and 4,000 power, which is fine. It's alright. It's okay. It's not as good as 5. 5 is alright, but it's not phenomenal. 4's fine. It's not great. But we've got a skill, Security. It's a security skill. At the end of battle, play this card without paying its cost. We knew we were getting Security Digimon. This is the green one. It is a security skill. If it comes out as a security card, then you get to play it at the end of the battle without paying the cost. And bearing in mind, you will then be playing it on your opponent's turn, so that whole you can't attack the Digimon the turn it's played malarkey won't affect you. When it comes back round to your turn, it will be open season. You will be allowed to use this Digimon, which is kind of ridiculous. Because it means that all of a sudden you've got an extra Digimon. Like, you're not just playing a Digimon for free, you're playing a Digimon for free, and you get to use it kind of immediately. Like, not absolutely immediately, right, because it's your opponent's turn, but as soon as it comes back round to your turn, you will be able to. Of course, we kind of saw this coming. We might not have known the exact Digimon it was going to be, but we saw Greymon, who is a 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to evolve, 4,000 power level 4, with a security skill that lets you play it without paying the cost. And we saw Garurumon, who is a 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to evolve, 4,000 power level 4, with a security skill that at the end of the battle lets you play this card without paying its cost. And there's gonna be a yellow one, and there's gonna be a blue one, and there's gonna be a purple one. We haven't seen them yet. Oh, yes, we have. We've got Black Gatomon. Okay, to be fair, we still haven't seen the blue and yellow ones, but we have seen a purple one, and that's good enough for now. And again, this does need to be a card that fits in here. I know we're doing a video about green cards, but you can see that it naturally fits into this video. And I have very little to say about this card in addition to what I've already said. It is exactly the same as those other cards we mentioned. And I told you when I looked at the previous security cards, and I'm telling you this now, and it's going to be the same when we see the blue and yellow versions of them. They are vanilla cards. You are going to start the game with a 50 card deck and 5 security cards. So all things being even, we are going to essentially have a 1 in 10 chance of this ending up in your security. So the question for you is, does the occasional game where this is going to come out as a security card and give you a free Digimon that can evolve as soon as it, or attack, that, or evolve as well, of course, as soon as it goes to your turn, is that worth playing over a level 4 that might have some good skill or inheritable skill or be cheaper or be more powerful, etc.? And we talked about this before, and essentially it is over to you guys as to whether you think it is. I will leave it in your lovely, capable hands. But that is the question with these cards. They're clearly useful cards, but I do worry that they're not going to come out as security cards often enough to be worth playing. But who knows, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? I'd like to know what you think about all of these cards that we've talked about today, so, you know, let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.